There comes a time, every now and then, when Steel Division 2 absolutely blows my mind. Previously was the T-26s, before that the biplane madness, so many biplanes on the screen at once, and before that the incredible 90-minute Krupke game. Let me show you another. Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 10 versus 10, and I'm going to be playing with Corpul 6 Teritorial with the Juggernaut deployment type. This game is already underway. It's not often I'll start a game that's already in Phase B on the channel, but the first 10 minutes of this game was relatively uneventful. Everybody's taken up their positions, and we're purposefully not pressing too hard with our troops in order to destroy the enemy, because what's going to happen today is we are going to try and bring in over 15,000 men. You might have noticed in the deck that there is 360 squads of infantry ready to go, and each of those squads is 10 men, so that is 3,600 men ready to go, which is just one division. And we have on our team 7 Corpul 6 Territorial, and we have 3 other players using 7th, Nov and 9th, which are also set up to have a lot of infantry. So there's probably more like 20,000 men on our team ready to go, but it can only really start in Phase C. So I've started the game here in Phase B. We got 7 minutes and 30 seconds until we move on to Phase C, and then I can start bringing in all the recruitsy that I have up my sleeve. Now, since this game was played, recruitsy were nerfed to 15 points, but the availability is still the same. So if you want to try this out, then feel free to do so. You can still do it. It will just cost you a little more and maybe take you a little bit more time to bring in all of the squads. But since they were 10 points, I thought it would be kind of funny to try and make some ground just with the recruitsy. So, let me talk you through what's happened so far. Gone up and taken this hill. Most of these troops haven't even seen combat yet, except from the 88. The 88 managed to kill Slutsk here. We managed to take out the SDK Z71, but my opponent's been relatively passive. On the right hand side here, Genjeff's been fighting off units that have been coming up the edge of the hill. You can see he's taken out the Panzer IV there, and an SDK Z231. There's another 2 SBW 259s there as well. But the Doubler's stopping the aircraft, so that's nice. And he's still holding that position for the time being. Burdened and Jagd have been playing this pretty carefully over here, not pressing too hard on our opponents after they made an M15 push, which got shut down pretty quickly indeed. In the centre, things have been relatively light for MiG-21, but over on this side, Grim's been pushed back and forth quite a lot as the artillery has been coming down. There are some quite large tanks up on this ridge that are quite difficult for our units to deal with. On the left hand side we have Sebastian, who's been getting some really good bombing strikes off. Killed a Panzer IV here, killed the Panzer IV and the Panther A. So he's been holding his ground there with Nov. And meanwhile on the left hand side, Spicy's been having a bit of a hard fight against Salama, who is also supported by Hunter Squad here and his long-range tanks, which is, again, difficult for the Corpul 6 to deal with early on, because Corpul 6 is a very interesting division. It doesn't actually come with any tanks in the tank tab in Phase A. You have to rely on the T-70 Rozhudka in the recon tab for your tanks, and otherwise you're solely reliant on your AT tab, or in this case I'm using the Flak 88. Then when you get into B, you unlock the ability to bring in tanks. You can get your T-34 85s in, and that sort of stabilizes the division overall. But none of that for me and Genjeff on the right hand side, both of us kind of saving as many points as we can, so that as soon as I move into Phase C in 4 minutes and 30 seconds, I can bring in as many recruitsy as possible. So, meanwhile, the artillery game is happening. Grim has brought in some of these radio 75mm, and he's also got the 100mm back here. Currently hitting as much as he can on the hill there. My 88 here on the right hand side, trying to assist Genjeft by killing off as many of these vehicles as possible, because Fate and Fat Boy Veteran have decided to push across and wipe out Genjeft there. The 88 in a really good position to knock out a lot of these vehicles. It's got a decent rate of fire. The only thing that it doesn't have a decent amount of is AP shells, so it's got to get these shots on target, otherwise it will eventually run out. And that is 2 Pumas. Going for a third. Bretta's also going to get involved as they move into 1,250 meter range. SPW 231's now pushing over to my hill. Another Puma taken out, SPW 231 taken out. Now going to be focusing on the Stug 3s. Should ideally be focusing the 2341 here, because that is obviously directly threatening the Stug, oh sorry, the 88, with a little bit of a stray from the 109 as well. That 88 is going to go down. So now I'm reliant on the Bretters up on the hill here to get the job done, but Legolas going to be coming in as well with his attack at the same time, so they're making their move on this side, and it's just up to us to defend for the next couple of minutes until I can bring in all of my infantry. I decided that I was going to cave and buy in at least one Reshitsa that I could place further back. Reshitsa have nice accuracy and good rate of fire for killing vehicles like this out in the open. Got the AK-9T here, trying to catch on to the BF-109, but not quite able to do the job. Arado now coming over. One of the Arados did bomb us at the start of the game, looking for Genjeff's mortars here, and managing to find them. Yak-9 going to be trying its best to get on its tail, but the Arado very fast indeed. All the while, my forces up on the top here did get taken out. The Vunatore Decade knocked down the side of the hill far enough, so they're going to get taken out. The Bretta's just got overrun by all of these vehicles. There's so many SPWs and such here. But that's going to be 1 kill for the Vunatore Decade. He's going to back it up. Probably could have still overrun those, but Yanksor's backing us up with 2 more Vunatore Decade. Reshitsa freely firing away at maximum range. The 160mm of penetration means that we will have a chance to kill those Stugs, but gets fully pinned, so going to have to fall it back and rely on Genjeff's Reshitsa that has unloaded on the crossroads. 1 minute left until the wave of infantry can arrive. Big Marauder here, going to come in, bomb out the Stug. These things come with, I think, 907 kilogram bombs, and just absolutely annihilate things with them. So the lack of AA allows that to get through and kill off a sizable amount of forces up on that hill, force back the rest. The thing's getting pretty dire across the front, really, because all of the players are kind of just holding back their points so that we can bring in the human wave as we get to phase C, and we're almost there. It'll be worth the wait, guys, trust me. This is why I also kind of fast forwarded to phase B in this video, because the first 10 minutes just wasn't really that exciting. But now the action begins as our opponents are starting to smell blood, pushing forwards. But here we go. It's time to bring in the wave of infantry, and you'll see how many I deploy all at once. Bear in mind they cost 10 points each, and I'm just going to deploy them in groups of 5 all across the front. Here we go. Now, just a disclaimer, people did start to crash in this game, so I'm not sure my PC will be able to handle the replay. We'll have to wait and see. but things are about to get very, very wild. You can see that the FPS is already dropping as these troops start to come onto the field. Mustad Madlet from the 7th. We got the Rekrutsi coming in from Mikshab. And Sebastian, he's going to be going for the Lovsi Tenkova, sorry. It's going to be crazy. We already had one drop. I'm not sure if that was due to the amount of units that are coming in. But here they come. So already Jinjeft getting some unloaded, creating nice lines of Rekrutsi. My plan was to just kind of unload them in groups of 5s and then just have them all charge at once. The reason we're bringing them further back is because we wanted to see how far we could get just charging them across the open. Which on Slutsk is, you know, it's not a good thing, because there's going to be plenty of time for them to get fire support on target. But with this many men, there's a good chance they'll run out of ammo. Now, if you want something to watch, it's the mini-map in the top right. You can see the amount of troops coming in to this location. Mikshab is bringing in so many troops there, all onto that singular location. I'm spreading mine out all on the right hand side here with Jinjeft. More and more are arriving, ready to push the front line. It's just incredible watching this many transports arrive. If I look at the entire map as a whole, I feel like my computer will just die. But we're off. Jinjeft has unleashed his Rekrutsi, and they are going to be starting to run towards the front line. Got a second line further back. I've just unloaded mine, and off they go. Yeah, these groups of 5s, there's like 50 men in each group, starting their push across the open. And all I'm going to do for the next 5 to 10 minutes is just bring in more and more and more infantry. The FPS is going to continue to get lower and lower as more and more of these troops come in. Spicy now joining the fun. Yagsource bringing in his Rekrutsi. Grim's already got his on the go. The Rekrutsi on the backside of this hill from Endy, they're lining up ready to push over the hill. We've got my troops on the right side here, following up Jinjef's as we begin to push forwards. And the other thing that I was kind of planning to do here was kind of sneak in between a couple of Reshitsa, so that we could at least kill the armoured targets whilst they're focusing down all of the infantry. And if they don't focus down the infantry, then the infantry just continues to make more ground. Now it's funny because the Rekrutsi, they don't have any AT, but they do have machine guns. So they're able to kill basically anything that's not armoured at range pretty quickly, considering the number of squads that we have heading in that direction. Now you'll notice that I am spreading these out a little bit. I'm just selecting them all, holding right click and dragging to make them go into a nice line, and then continuing with their attack orders afterwards, whilst we line up the next bunch of Rekrutsi. Look at this wave on the right hand side here. Just wave after wave of Rekrutsi ready to run into enemy fire. We haven't actually bumped into anything at range yet, but they can probably see it coming. And I'm not sure how I would feel about that if I was the enemy team. But over here, some troops getting caught out on the road. Some of the Rekrutsi already running away. These Rekrutsi are of course disheartened. That's what the little heart means next to their icon. What that is they take more suppression basically than regular troops from any source. So this artillery already making these Rekrutsi fall back. But he's ready to go. He's unloading. And they're going to start pushing the hill any moment. Meanwhile, my line of Rakutsi pushing forwards here. The Rakutsi on the right moving forwards. You're going to have to watch all of these orange lines for the entire replay. I apologize about that because it's on an old version, so I can't actually turn them off. But here we go. The Rakutsi pushing up the hill for Endy. That is a lot of guys moving up, and there is nothing they can do against Tigers and Panzer IVs. So it's certainly going to be a grind for those men as they continue to try and push over the top. And on the right hand side, well, we're continuing to make some ground. Arado's now coming in with their 1,000 kilogram bombs, looking to try and cut down some of these Rakutsi. They've just got to try and target the biggest blobs, as well as keeping mine as spread out as possible so that they couldn't be targeted by just big bombing runs. You can see I've got a second wave coming through here, another wave on the left that's built up. These guys are still getting ready to really push. Grim guy's already kind of breaching over the edge of the hill, but here goes Endy. Oh, sorry, here goes McShab. The swarm begins. They're all just going to hit a brick wall initially, but when these units start to run out of ammo, that's when the Rakutsi can start to make some good ground. On the left here, Endy's spread out some Rakutsi alongside Grim Guy to try and take some ground. We've got Yagsauce and Spicy pushing them up on the left-hand side. On the right, I got so many Rakutsi all ready to go. The Resitsa currently sitting back here, providing fire onto the Pack 40. But there goes another as Sebastian now drops from the game. You know, we're getting to the point where there's probably, I don't know, around 4,000, 5,000 men on my side of the battle. Here we have Yagsauce's troops alongside Burton's now pushing up that hill. In the town, it's all of the Mustad Mantleth. These are 15-man squads making as much ground as they can. We've got McShab actually making some decent ground there. Unfortunately, the ones that are pushing up onto this hill aren't doing so well for themselves. But a nice amount of smoke support is trying to help make that ground. And Grutzi bumping into Luftwaffe Ersatz at range, which is actually a good matchup for them on the left side. So they're able to make some ground there. But every time I come back to this right-hand side, just all of the orange lines of the attack is absolutely crazy. I'll zoom in just enough that those go away. So some of these getting hit by artillery, forcing them back. And the nice thing is, when they finish falling back, they can just continue attacking again. But there goes another, as Richard Best drops from the game. And this is really going to start to get to the point where people's games are crashing from just not being able to maintain this many men on screen at the same time. There's just so many across the entire front that are pushing forwards. The tanks here are all plopping up, trying to stay safe as the infantry comes forwards, but honestly they don't really need to care too much. Like, just look at this SPW. The SPW-231 just doesn't know what to do. There's just too many targets. It's just spinning its turret around as all of the Rakutsi just run past it. And the Rakutsi can't damage that at all, so it's just sat there, running out of ammo slowly but surely. Not able to deal with these. STK Z71 gonna get killed off by the machine guns. All of these vehicles, yeah, they can't be killed by Rakutsi. This is where, like, spreading in a couple of Reshitsa here and there is really important. Like, this one's going to be taking out that MG42 for us, which is going to be handy, and it will also shoot at the Stug and the Panzer IVs on the hill if it gets line of sight. So there goes another one. Fate has now dropped from the game, and you just got to start keeping count of the number of people who have dropped, because It's gonna keep happening as more and more soldiers are coming in. Like, we haven't stopped bringing in recruits yet. There's more and more on the way. If you think we brought them all in already, you are very wrong. As more of these recruits start to come in, and after the recruits, I've still got Kararashimoto, so yeah, we're not even there yet. Just more and more waves arriving and continuing to push the front line and actually making some decent ground. I mean, if you just check the mini-map, you can see that the ground is being made. You know, this hill, the tanks were here, now they're back here, so whilst all of these infantry that are pushing forwards are getting slowly but surely mowed down, there's still a lot there, and they're still making ground. Now, Genjeft on my right, unfortunately, gonna be another one that gets kicked out of the game. I believe what was actually happening, rather than like, it was either crashing people's PCs or it was kicking them because their PC was too slow. It was like one of the two. But Regrezzi, when I say crashing PCs, I mean like just crashing the game rather than their actual PC. But look how many men there are here. Burdened, there's another one, bites the dust as the forces continue to make ground across the front here. Luckily the AI did take up the mantle and continued to push forwards the Krutzi in the open. I got this Reshitsa in the back garden here. He's actually hiding in the hay bale. Amazing. Engaging the 88 on the right there. But yeah, more and more recruits arriving. Another wave is ready to go. More recruits now coming in. And since we're in phase C, I'm getting 175 points per minute, which means 17 more squads of recruits that I can bring in. And we're just going to keep on going. You have never, ever, ever seen this many units in Steel Division 2 before. If you have, then you must have been playing some sort of mod, because organizing this is always one of the best parts of the stream, really. Just like having people who are willing to do this with me is incredible. So thanks to you guys who got involved. As Legolas, another one, a victim to the absolute spam of infantry. It's just really, really cool zooming in as well, seeing all of the men pushing across the open here. Over on their side, the hill, still an absolute shit show, honestly, as there's men running in all directions. You got men retreating, you got men continuing to push up, you got men, you know, retreating and then pushing up. These Panzer IVs there, trying to surrender them, but because the front line isn't over them, you can't surrender the ones further back. So the Panzer IVs are just running through here with their machine guns, trying to do as much damage as possible. T-34 is going to sit there and get some free shots on target in the meantime. And this is basically what we need to do, like just get the recruitcy spam to continue to push forwards and then just sneak in a few AT units here and there. Like, Benjeft has a couple of T-34s, at least the AI does now. My Reshitsa are slowly but surely pushing forwards. And those have been very, very helpful in knocking out any armor that's been preventing my recruitcy from making ground. But we're going to continue pushing forwards here, as we're now 19 to 13 in flags. The charge is being led over the hill here by Endy. In the town, the AI bunching up a lot of the Mustad Mantlit before pushing them forwards. You got McShab's forces continuing to push through, but there are some Flampanzers. These Flampanzers are bad news. Probably one of the perfect counters, actually, to this kind of strategy, because of Krutzi, whilst they can kill them if they get close enough, they're probably not going to get close enough because of the Flammenwerfer. The only thing about the Flammenwerfer is that it will run out of ammo, so you gotta bear that in mind as well. Alrighty, more and more Rekrutzi are on the way, and as I zoom out, you'll notice the FPS dropping. Look at that. How insane is that? You can barely see the front line because of the amount of units. Now imagine if you had an aggregated where you had like the stacks of units. Oh, it wouldn't even fit on the screen. You just have a big screen of recruitancy blob. Okay, well, the recruitancy spam is continuing. The Mustad Mantler actually making good ground now. They're all pushing on through. These guys all pushing on through. All of them just ordered basically to the spawn. In the open, things not going as well. It's like a line of 20 mils and 37 mils, and also a line of machine guns here from Salama, which is going to prevent any ground being made there. But the right's still good to go, as the density of these recruitsi is just something unmatched. And this was what I was saying about blowing my mind. I never thought I would play a game like this in Steel Division 2, ever. Even when I saw like a mass T-34 spam, this is just something else. The T-26s was super fun, and the biplanes were super fun, but both of those were Phase A things, where we got as many T-26s or as many biplanes in at the start of the game. But this is like a wait till 20 minutes and then bring in as many infantry as possible. And it requires like so much like discipline on the team to just not push forwards and just hold at the 50-50 for as long as we can. There goes Mixshab. He's another one to get knocked out of the game due to how much this was causing the game to lag. Again, if I zoom out, you'll see exactly why people were getting kicked out of the game, or their games were crashing. There goes another two, Your Gender and Spicy, dropping at the same time. It basically got to the point where there was only like 3 people or 4 people left in the game. There was like 2 people on the enemy team, I think 3 people on our team at the end. So the people who survived this, fair play to your computers, because my computer's a monster, right? I got a 4090, I've got an i9 14900K. You know, if my computer can't handle it, I don't know what will. Obviously we got 50 series cards now that might help out a little bit more, but I'm not so sure. Grim Guy now getting pushed out of the game as well, either crashing or getting kicked by the server for lagging too much. Here we go. More and more recruitcy now advancing towards the line of Panthers. The Panther is going to get taken out there as the Axos does bring up the T-34-85s. The T-34-85s like joining the front line here and just being like screened by all of this infantry just worked so well. It really, really did. Like even like by Resitsar, like attacking up onto the hill there, we got this Resistar. It's going to like move onto the road and push up and just engage at close range as well. We're currently 22-10 in flags. More recruitsi are still coming in on the backside here. I also had some reservations, but these guys didn't have enough transport, so they're running in from spawn. So I've brought in all the recruitsi now. If I double click this and scroll down at the bottom, look how many there are. Absolutely incredible. Zofka unfortunately losing out. I can't even select anything anymore. Okay, it was like taking up too much of the screen on the bottom. I couldn't select anything for a moment there because I had all of the recruitsi selected. Yeah, even across here, I mean, the recruitsi are holding the line, at least. You know, that's as much as you can ask for. Here, they're not making as much ground as they were before, mainly due to the fact it's probably in the hands of the AI now. But loads of recruitsi still coming up the center. NT was still in the game, I believe. So he's still making pushes. My recruitsi line, you know, we got the refresh recruitsi joining the ones at the front. And the density of units here is becoming quite something now. Really good chance for a bombing strike as all of these recruitsi start pushing forwards. But it was just crazy because we're starting to get on top of the artillery here, but that's mainly due to the fact that the enemy was also a lot of AI now, so they're deploying their artillery a little too far forwards, and that's getting taken out in the process. So we're getting a nice amount of kills just from that. Unfortunately, Genjeff's AI wasn't moving his recruitsy forwards properly, so it was really just on mine on the right side here to make ground whilst I'm being covered by the T-34 85s. Moving up to 23 flanks though, as this strategy is somehow working. Check out the minimap as the forces are all just getting to the front line. The left side running out of steam a little bit. You can see that on this hill things are starting to get killed off. There's not so many forces running forwards anymore. Could be because of AI taking over, but it also might just be because they've been cut down enough. But honestly, I don't think there's enough ammo between all of these units to kill off this many recruitsy. So let's just have a good look across the entire front line here. If we zoom in, you see all the smoke piles in the distance. The recruitsy pushing past these burning Stugs, and the SDKZ 250-10 there. A Puma being taken out. There's a couple of Italian tanks here. Those are the P40s, then we've got the AB41, EAS42. There's so many different vehicles and wrecks that are now just being overrun by the recruitsy. And if I zoom out, look at all of the attack orders I've got going straight to the spawn. Panthers struggling to kill off the recruitsy actually, because Panthers really don't have that much HE. It's things like these SBW 233s that would actually do a lot of damage, but the 233s, they're going to run out of HE shells eventually. And the recruitsy will just continue coming forwards, and they won't be able to get supply trucks near those vehicles because the supply trucks can be targeted by machine guns. So it just gets to the point where you have no ammo and you're going to have to retreat basically back to your spawn. But if you retreat that far, then you lose the ground and then you've got to push back through all of the recruitsy again. And so we're just sort of compounding this push that we've managed to make happen. Just look at this town. All of the Mustad Mantlet moving backwards and forwards. Blown up trucks, dead Stugs. There's so many things being taken out here. The Valentine and the SU-76 were supporting there nicely. Now Andy coming up with some of his reservation to make some ground, but 3 minutes until victory in this absolutely incredible game. Just so many men. You will have never ever see something like this in Cell Division 2, probably ever again, unless for some reason I decide to do it. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. It took like maybe 2 or 3 games to get this to work properly, because it got to the point where we would either like be winning or be ahead in flanks. Because I mean, even if you're like ahead in flanks 16 to 15, it's a 30-minute game and then you don't have enough time to bring in all of the recruitsy. Whereas in this game we had to like purposefully almost lose in phase A so that we had enough time in phase B and C to actually bring in the units, or in particular phase C to bring in all of the units, because you've got to have a certain amount of income in order to bring in all of the recruitsy. Yeah, all of my squads are now on the field. You can see I'm bringing up the Kararashimoto. So, yeah. We've got through almost my entire infantry tab in this game. 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. Rustad Mantlet continue to push in the town. On this side, it's fallen a bit silent as Grim and McShab's AI stopped pushing. Though Sebastian's not really pushing much anymore as well, due to him being kicked out earlier on. But my units are still pushing, and we're spearheading this right hand side. If you check the mini-map, we've got a really nice concentrated blob pushing all the way through towards the backline artillery units. Now, since they were getting a bit too close together, you can see that I have given them an order to spread out. And we're just going to like ignore the attack moves so they actually make ground, and then I'm going to give them another attack move order once they get into the line there. But with 40 seconds left on the clock, nice kill there onto the Tiger from Jeff's Yak 9. We are getting closer and closer to victory. On my records here, just running backwards and forwards like headless chickens. Most of them actually running forward, surprisingly. But anytime we get in range of something, all the recruits open up with the ZB-30s and actually kill them really, really quickly. And you'll notice that there's barely any AA left because all the AA is being killed off by the Rokrydze, because it's something that can actually be targeted by those machine guns. But there you have it, a major victory after 46 minutes and 22 seconds, the most incredible game that I've played in a very long time. 4,081 kills, 1,510 losses actually went incredibly positive because those reserve troops are so cheap. Like if we go to kills, you can see that the Reshid Tsar was absolutely farming in the back line. The 88 got loads of kills early on, but it's all down to those Reshid Tsar that are just hiding amongst the Rokrydze. And the Rokrydze are getting some kills, like particularly onto like something like the SFH 150mm is a good kill. But you can see we're also killing like Flak 36s, Pak 40s with the Rokrydze, because we're just getting into range with so many machine guns. They just can't stand there and take it. But a lot of the points, yeah, in the Reshid Tsar that were just hidden in the back line, slowly creeping up, finding the kills, whilst everything was being distracted by that infantry. And yeah, what a battle it was. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.